Namaste. Welcome to the Sunday surprise, which is not so much of a surprise today. We are going to work on our joints. That's the emphasis of the class. So we're going to be mostly on the mat, and I highly recommend you keeping a blanket handy and just fold it a couple of times. It's just for our convenience for foot movement to make it easier to slide our feet on the blanket. And I think that's all that we're going to need, apart from everything else you need for your comfort to sit, and then also later on to lay down in Shavasana. All right, so welcome Diane in the class, and another welcome to you. Hi Madeline, great to have you again. And we'll start just as usual in the comfortable seated position. So you take your time getting into the position, either sitting cross-legged or sitting on your heels. In whichever position, your back can be upright yet relaxed. And you close your eyes, resting your hands in the area of your knees, either with your palms facing up or down. That's up to you. Feel what is more suitable today. And take a couple of deep breaths, connecting with your body. Feel the inhale sinking all the way down to your abdomen, your belly button rising up. And with your exhale, you send some relaxation through your body. And without any judgment, for this very moment, feel your body. Scan it either head to toe or from your feet up all the way to your head. And scan it for any parts that feel tight, tense, or warm, very relaxed. Anything you can notice, any kinds of sensations that come to you, scanning your whole body. Maybe there's the one or the other spot more dominant than the other, keeping your awareness in this area. And maybe you can already check for yourself if it is a sensation of tension that you are feeling. If it is some kind of tension, how does it feel? Is it like a tense muscle? Is it a joint hurting maybe? Maybe there's even some sensation of slight blockage somewhere in your body. Try to be non-judgmental, really only examining the situation of your body right now. And whatever sensations you might have noticed, try to feel the flow of your prana in your body, the life force, any type of energy. So maybe scanning your body again, you might feel any kind of tingling or flowing or nothing at all, also possible. And at last, also observe how heavy or how light your body feels right now in this moment while you're seated. And whatever conclusions you have come to, I'd like to open the class with chanting 3 times Om together. If you feel like following the chant, bring your palms together in front of your chest with your thumbs touching your sternum. And let's take a deep inhale together. And a long exhale through the open mouth. Inhale for Om. Keep your eyes closed and your breath flowing naturally. And then lower your chin, blink your eyes, bring your focus back to the outside world. And let's get out of this cross-legged seated position and bring your legs in front of you. Starting with the first movements, I recommend you to make sure that your seat bones are well grounded. Maybe you want to sit on a fold blanket or anything that raises your hips just slightly. And I recommend having a blanket under your feet so they can easily slide easier with your heels. Okay, the mat might be a little bit sticky, and whenever we remove the feet too fast, maybe a carpet might make them hot. Okay. So your legs are on the floor, completely extended. You can rest your hands behind you, making sure you keep your spine nice and long and not falling into an uncomfortable position for your back. Because we start with our toes. So you spread your toes kind of as far as you can, really making space between the toes and stretch them out as far as possible. And then you curl them in, really squeeze your toes. But try to not move the rest of your feet, only the toes. And then stretch them out and squeeze your toes. That's the only movement we start with. Alternately stretching, spreading, making space between the toes, and curling them in, really squeezing the toes. And you can coordinate the movement with your breath. Every inhale is always making space, and every exhale is a squeeze together. And it takes a little bit of practice to really get comfortable in this movement. It's really good for our whole feet and the toes, keeping all the joints lubricated. All these tiny little joints in your toes, and also the ones connecting the toes to the rest of your foot. And in this whole practice, whenever you feel your mind floating away, engaging with any other thoughts that are not in connection with the physical sensations of your practice, you can close your eyes and bring your full awareness to this part that you are moving in this moment. And try to feel any little sensation noticeable, especially with our toes. We have 10 toes. So a minimum of 10 separate sensations you can try to investigate. And then we make the whole movement a little bit bigger, extending our feet all the way to the front, even stretching the toes out, pointing the toes. And bring your feet back towards you, your toes looking up to the ceiling, and maybe your toes are even looking to you. Give your foot a whole stretch. And again, you can coordinate with your inhale and exhale, extending your foot, pointing your toes, and bringing them back towards you, looking at you, stretching your feet. Now in this one, I leave it up to you which one is the inhale and the exhale. You can experiment a little bit, which one seems more suitable for you. And again, always feel free to close your eyes and feel the whole sensations in your feet. Make sure you're moving your feet in one line, back and forth, not to the sides. And start drawing circles with your feet, either both feet going the same direction or opening and closing kind of. The direction doesn't matter which one we start with, but make sure your heels are free to move on the blanket underneath you so you don't get stuck in any area. And also we don't want the sensation of rubbing on the mat, so we can focus on the joints, on our ankles, moving around. And if you close your eyes, maybe you can also already feel which other areas this movement is affecting. Because rotating or rolling our ankles doesn't mean it's only the ankles usually that we are using here, that we are moving here. Okay, change directions. This movement is most probably also affecting your toes, the center of your feet. maybe even going all the way up to your hips. Just very slightly loosening up and rotating with your ankles. Okay, that should do. Then bring your feet back to the center with your toes pointing up. You can lean back a little bit and do the windshield wipers with your feet, waving to the left and right. And keep your legs completely relaxed, just following the movement of the feet all the way up to your hips. Preparing our hips for some more movement. Okay. Now, keeping the back nice and straight. You keep your left leg down on the mat with your toes looking up, your foot flexed. Then grab behind your right thigh and pull your thigh towards your chest to use the lever, grabbing around the leg to keep the spine nice and long while your seat bones are still well grounded. And now we're only going to use our right lower part of the leg, extending and flexing the knee. And even after repeating only a few times, you might already feel some sensations in your thigh, maybe even your shin. Noticing all the muscles being involved, moving our knee. Okay, the knee is a very complex joint, many different parts involved. And it's one of our joints that is most likely to have severe damage from not enough movement during the day, especially when you have a seated job. Make sure you do movements like this one, or maybe low squats. Anything that keeps the knees moving, walking up and down the stairs quite a bit. The muscles will adjust, they will strengthen, but it's very important throughout our whole life to keep the knee well lubricated. Okay. So keep your knee back in stillness. And maybe you want to experiment a little bit, rotating your shin, going in very, very slight circles. Just explore the range of movement here while you're holding your thigh completely still. There's a little bit of range to the left and right. If this is at any point uncomfortable for you, then you stop doing the movement. Okay. That should do for the knee for now. Now, making sure your left foot is still flexed. Now you also flex your right foot, your toes looking up. And you grab your foot with your left hand, going all around the foot, and keep your foot flexed, really firm in your hand. Your right hand goes on top of the right knee. And now we're going in circles with our thigh. And what do you say? Is it the director, someone giving directions? That's your hand. So you can close your eyes for experimenting a little bit, focusing on your hand on top of your knee. And this hand is giving a circular direction. And what follows is your thigh, as if you were stirring in a pot with your thigh. And so that movement goes all the way down into your hip. your full focus on the hand on top of your knee, giving the direction for the circular movement. And then stop the movement for a moment. Make sure your right foot is still flexed and change the direction of the circles. Your full focus again in that hand, stirring the pot with your thigh bone. And maybe this movement, this direction might need a little more concentration than the one before. That's absolutely natural. That one side is a little easier than the other. One direction, either clockwise or counterclockwise, is easier than the other. Just keep your full focus with the movement you are giving to your leg and therefore to your hips. Okay, now find stillness with your shin in front of you. Now I give you two options for the next movement. First of all, everyone checking that the spine is still nice and long. And then you give your knee a hug with your right arm until your hand ends up somewhere in the area of your shin, the side of your shin. And now either you stay here rocking from side to side, or if it's possible for you, you bring your right foot into your left elbow. And then you can hug your shin from both sides and rock it like a baby from left to right. Making sure both feet are always flexed to give more stability to your ankle and your knee. Because what's wanting to move is only the hip, with your shoulders following. But your lower leg and your arms stay in their position. And again, you can close your eyes and pay very close attention to what is happening in your hip, the right side of your hip. Okay, and find stillness again. Free your foot and extend your leg on the floor. Now, find a comfortable position for your hands behind you, both legs fully extended. Close your eyes and feel both legs. From the tips of your toes, through your feet, your ankles, and along the legs all the way up to the hips. What can you notice? Okay. Opening your eyes again, lengthening your spine. Make sure your right leg stays down and your right foot flexed, toes looking up. Then you grab behind your left thigh. You can shake it loose a little bit, making some more space. Okay. And now using the lever of grabbing behind your thigh to keep your spine nice and long, then you extend and flex your left leg in the joint of your knee. Some of us can extend the leg to be completely straight in this position, but if your knee stays slightly bent, like mine for instance, that's also absolutely fine. Again, I invite you to close your eyes, paying attention to all the sensations in your left leg. Maybe you can even feel your knee a little bit moving like this. If you're having any issues with your knee, you might already feel other sensations probably. But make sure, especially if there are any signs or any family history of arthritis, that you keep it moving, keep it lubricated. Cycling on your bicycle in low gears with no pressure is highly recommended for that as well. Keeping it moving. Okay, and come back to stillness. Now, keeping both feet flexed again with a long back, you grab your left foot with your right hand, left hand on top of the knee. Find your concentration again, keeping the direction going from your hand, concentrating on your hand, and then you go in circular movements, moving your thigh in one direction. Feeling your hip joint at the other end of the thigh. Maybe you already notice a difference to the other leg in the movement. Usually one hip is a little tighter than the other, or maybe more open and flexible than the other, to put it in more positive words. And then hold this and making sure your left foot is flexed, your spine is long, and then you go in the other direction. And find stillness again. Now again, two options. Either keeping your left foot in your right hand and hugging your shin from the left side, or maybe you can bring your left foot into your right elbow and hugging your shin from both sides and rock it from side to side like a baby. Both feet flexed so your toes are all looking up towards the ceiling. Make sure your shoulders are not creeping up but staying down. So you can bring your full awareness down to your hips, to the movement, to any sensations. And find stillness once again. Extending your leg back down. Finding a comfortable space for your hands to lean back for a moment, closing your eyes, and again, feel both legs with any sensations noticeable starting from your toes, through your feet and ankles, and slowly make your way all the way up towards the hips. And come back with your back upright. Now, for the next few moments, we will be in a seated position, but again of your choice. So you can either sit cross-legged, or what I actually recommend for this one, sitting back on your heels in the Thunderbolt seat. Maybe with some kind of a prop, a blanket or a block between your heels and your seat bones. Or if you have a high block, you can also take it between your legs and sit down on the high block. Okay, find out for yourself which one is the most comfortable for now, because we're going to sit for a couple of minutes in this position, moving the upper body and not so much the legs anymore. Okay. Now we continue with our fingers. So make sure your back is still upright. Bring your hands up, palms facing forward, and make sure your shoulders stay down and relaxed, as well as your elbows. And now what we did with the toes, we do the same with our fingers. Stretching them also as wide apart as possible, and then curling them in until the tips of your fingers touch the roots of the fingers, like a cat's paw a little bit. And stretch them out again. And curl in your fingers. And make sure you're not making fists. We're not there yet. We're only moving the fingers. That includes your thumbs. So try to bring even the tip of your thumb towards the palm, or even the root of the thumb. What counts is that sense of direction, where you want to go with the tips of your fingers. And again, you can coordinate with your breath. Inhaling, bringing the fingers wide out, stretching. And exhaling, the tips of your fingers curling in. And stay with it for a while. Even if it's uncomfortable for your fingers. Probably unusual for your hands. They might say, hey, what you doing here? And it's up to you if you want to go in fast movements or staying with long breaths, slow, conscious movements. Whatever you feel your hands need right now. And then we make the movement bigger, forming fists with thumbs outside and stretch out. Forming fists and stretch out. When your hands open up, make sure you stretch the tips of your fingers as wide as you can, making space even between the fingers. If you start noticing any sensations in your forearms, very well. If not, also good. Okay, that should do. Now bring your forearms in front of you, make very loose fists with your fingers, and we're going to roll our wrists. Doesn't matter if both go in the same direction or if you're going clockwise, counterclockwise. Give your wrists the movement they need and try to make these movements as big as you can. What helps is keeping the elbows close to the chest to make sure you're only moving your wrists, not following with your elbows or shoulders. So when you close your eyes, it's easier to bring your full awareness to your wrists, where you now change the direction of your movements. And form wide, big circles. Okay, and relax and release your fingers. You can give them a little bit of a shake, not too much. All right, and we continue with our elbows. So now you extend your arms on shoulder level in front of you. That's the inhale, and with your exhale, you tap your fingers you tap your shoulders with your fingers. Inhale, making space, exhale, fingers to the shoulders. That's the whole movement. Inhale, open, exhale, tapping the shoulders. Our elbows are the most typical hinge joints, so this is the only movement they can do. And if this is the only movement, then we better make it count. So really focus. Maybe you can feel any sensations closing your eyes. Try to feel your elbows moving. Okay, and then keep your fingertips on top of your shoulders. Now we come to a bigger range of motion. Moving our shoulders. With your inhale, you bring your elbows together in front of you and move them up until you have to bring them apart again. That's a long inhale. With the exhale, you bring your elbows back and down, keeping your fingertips on your shoulders. Make sure your seat bones still stay down. With your inhale, raising up, elbows up, and with your exhale, back and down. And continue a couple of times with your own pace of breath. With your inhale, your elbows meeting in front of you and open up to the top. With your exhale, spread widely back and down. Keeping your back long, the crown of your head still rising up, but not falling into a hollow back. Okay, last repetition this direction. So after your next exhale, you keep your elbows back and down, and with your inhale, you raise your elbows back and up. And with your exhale, meeting in front of your face and going front and down. With your inhale, elbows back and up. With your exhale, elbows going front and down. And again, your movement is following the pace of your breath. Take deep, long, rich inhales and complete exhales. 2 more times. And with your exhale, relax your hands in the area of your legs. Close your eyes and only feel your arms and shoulders. Any sensations are welcome. To be noticed and explained with the prana, our life force, flowing. So keeping our joints active in a way that they are comfortably stressed without any strain or pain. We are making space for our prana also to flow freely and healthy through our entire system. And now moving to the most important part. We will concentrate on our spine. So you can stay in the seated position if it's still a good position for you. If you already feel discomfort in your legs or any numbness, then you switch your position coming into the cross-legged seat, or switching from cross-legged to sitting on your heels. Okay, next movement will be seated cats and cows, or in Kundalini Yoga, it's also sometimes called the camel ride, which I find very suitable. So we're going to move very dynamically now with our spine. And for that, if you are sitting cross-legged, you bring your hands onto your front ankle. If you are sitting on your heels, you just rest your hands in the area of your knees. You can close your eyes for this movement to make it even a little bit more accessible in the sensations. With our inhale, we are arching the back, and what is pulling us front is the lowest point of our sternum coming front, whereas your shoulders and your hips want to stay in one line as much as possible. And the exhale is pushing that spot, the lowest part of the sternum, back, curling the spine back. Inhale with your sternum front. Exhale, that spot, pushing back. And at all times, try to keep your shoulders and your hips in one level. So that way you make sure you're not moving from your hips, moving your entire upper body. What you want to move really is your spine. So concentrate on the area underneath your sternum, maybe also the solar plexus area if this is more accessible for you. You can even keep one finger there. And with your inhale, you press your sternum towards your finger, and with your exhale, you gently push your finger backwards. And as we find our way into the movement, we allow it to become more dynamic. So more quick. Inhales, exhales. In and out. Inhale, lengthen in the center. And exhale. Okay, next is the dynamic twist. And for that, I give you two options for the position of your hands. We start extending our arms to the sides on shoulder level. And from here, either you bring your elbows into a 90-degree angle, so-called cactus arms, or you bring the fingertips down to the shoulders. Make sure your shoulders are not lifting up, but stay down as far as possible. Now, with the inhale, we twist to the right side, keeping our spine nice and long. With the exhale, all the way to the left. Inhale to the right, exhale to the left. And we do that dynamically again. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, in, out, in, out, in, out. We're not going to do this for too long. Make a friendly face. Make sure your jaw is not clenching. And try to make it a light movement, not pushing your body into any direction, but just following. Next time you're exhaling on your left side, you stay on the left. Inhale on the left and exhale to the right. Inhale to the left, exhale to the right. In, out, in, out. Last few seconds. Don't forget the friendly face. And inhale, come back to the center. If you feel any dizziness, close your eyes and look up with your eyes closed to your third eye, the center of your forehead. And keep your awareness up there, center of your forehead. Arms and hands relaxed, shoulders relaxed. And while you keep your awareness up there, you can keep your eyes closed. We're going to continue moving our head with the exhale down, chin drawing down towards the chest, but only as far as you feel a very comfortable stretch for your neck. Or maybe you even want to stop the movement before that stretch. With your inhale, you raise your head up and raise your chin up. And your chin wants to grow up towards the ceiling, not stressing your neck. Make sure you're not squeezing your neck. And with your exhale, you lower your chin again. And inhale up. Continue on very conscious movements. And what's giving the direction for the movement is your chin. With your inhale up and your exhale down. And then you use your next inhale to come back to the center, keeping your chin parallel to the floor. And with your exhale, you look over your right shoulder, only turning the head, shoulders stay in one line. Using your inhale, coming back to the center, and exhale, look over the left shoulder. You can keep your eyes closed, only look with your inner eye. Inhale, center, and every exhale, looking over one shoulder. And repeat the movement to either side. Next time you come back from the left to the center, you relax. And now we're going to bring the movement together into circular movements. We do 3 circles in each direction. So starting with your exhale, you bring the chin down and then turn your head to one side. It's up to you if you start clockwise or counterclockwise, and your chin is giving the direction to form a wide circle all around. The exhale coming down and inhale raising up. When you have done 3 circles and your chin is going down towards your chest again, you stay here and change direction from there. Moving your head to the other side with your inhale and up. With your exhale back down. And again 3 times. And when you have finished the 3rd repetition, with an inhale, bring your head back up to the center and lengthen your spine through the crown of your head. And with your exhale, relax in the seat. And slowly find your way down to lay flat on your back, getting ready for Shavasana, for the final relaxation. So take whatever props or clothing you need to relax, to be comfortable. And whichever position you are in for your final relaxation today, keep your eyes open if you like. And then see how the exercise goes for Shavasana. You can close your eyes as well, but what I'd like you to do is moving your eyeballs through Shavasana. So for a couple of minutes, we're going to start rolling the eyeballs down, all the way down, not looking at your nose, but more at your lower eyelid. And then as if you could draw a bow above your head, you roll your eyeballs all the way up to the upper corners of your eyes, as if you were looking at your upper eyelids, or maybe the center of your eyebrows. Look as far up as you can. And then you draw a wide bow or half circle with your eyes, with your gaze. Around you, bringing your eyes all the way down again. And from the lowest corners of your eyes. You move them all the way up. And continue in your pace. You can go very, very slowly, which is training the eyes even more. Your whole body is relaxed. You're only moving your eyes. And rest your eyes in the center. Now we go sideways. So you move both eyeballs to the right and look at the furthest right corners of your eyes. And again, you draw a wide half circle over your head, maybe through the whole room, maybe all the way up to the sky, to the very left corners of the eyes. Look as far left as you can. And drawing a wide half circle back to the right side, and continue moving your eyes very consciously. Maybe you can imagine you are drawing a rainbow with your eyes from corner to corner. And whenever you are back at the left side, the left corners of the eyes, now draw wide circles clockwise, going up to the furthest right and the furthest down. As if you wanted to explore the whole size of your eyes. Drawing the biggest circles. And for the last movement, change the direction, now going counterclockwise in wide circles with your eyes. And then finish this last circle. Gently close your eyes and feel your entire body. All the sensations noticeable. Bring your awareness back to your breath. And take a deep, long inhale. And a complete exhale. And while you're consciously breathing, deepening your breath, imagine with every inhale you can wake your body up. So with every exhale, a little movement follows, starting with your toes and fingers, your whole feet and hands, your ankles and wrists, and allow your body all the movement it needs in this moment. And you can use a long deep inhale to stretch your arms over your head, point your toes and stretch from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. And with your exhale, you bend your knees and hug your knees. If it feels good for you, you can rock gently from side to side, giving your back muscles a nice massage. And whenever you are ready, you roll over to one side, using the lower arm as a cushion, keeping your eyes closed. And from there, you find your way back into the seated position of your choice. If possible, still with your eyes closed, your hands relaxed in the area of your knees, either with your palms facing up or down. We take one quality moment to feel our entire body again in this seated position. And even though we are usually not comparing in yoga, now see if there are any differences to your observations from the beginning of this class. If there is still any area of tension, any area that needs your special attention, do you feel rather heavy or light while you're seated? And what about the flow of your energies that you consciously notice in your physical body? And whatever sensations you are witnessing, whatever you might have noticed through this practice, with your hands in Anjali Mudra meeting in front of your chest, allow yourself a moment for gratitude. For having found your way onto the yoga mat, exploring your body and doing something beneficial for your joints, therefore for the flow of your prana, of your life force, which we can directly connect to and influence, not only through our breath, but also through conscious movements, keeping our body strong, flexible, healthy. And with this gratitude in mind, I'd like to finish this session with one Om and 3 Shanti. If you like to chant with me, let's take a deep, long inhale. And a complete long exhale through the open mouth. Inhale for Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And then bring your hands to your forehead for clarity, to your mouth for truth and honesty, and back to your heart so it may always guide you. Namaste to everyone in front of the computer and inside the Yogashala. Thank you very much for joining me in this special practice. I'd hope to offer it to you again. Let me know if it's requested, and have a lovely rest of a gorgeous Sunday, and see you next time. Bye bye, community.